It's another beautiful Monday. Very good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us for Sports Today on ABS TV. And that's the last shot in the heart and soul of Good Morning Anambra. My name is Ike Nwokedi, and sports is life. It never stops, and so do we. A lot went down at the weekend. On the show, the headlines, I will tell you about women in sports, how women have been enjoined to be part of and to do sports based on a physical exercise and equally recreational activities. Also on the show, we'll get to talk about grassroots football. We'll go to Nnewi and tell you about the Lincoln Cup happening in Nnewi, and we'll also talk about what's going down in Onitsha. The Remi Uche Soccer Challenge is still on and is getting into the critical stage of the preliminary stages of that competition. Also on the show, we'll talk about a certain Dr. Christian Emerowa. Will tell you what is big and what is different about that man, Christian Emerowa, as he goes to get into the position as the next NFF president, as we anticipate the September 30th election coming up in Benin. We'll also talk about the Anambra Independent Football League registration is on. We'll also talk about the Okasau Football League, Formula One, tennis news, and then result service of league matches in major leagues in Western Europe. We'll focus on France, Germany, Italy, and Spain on the sports show. But let's begin the show now with our first story. Let's go to Onitsha and talk about the Onitsha Unity Cup, also known as the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge. Yes, the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge is still on, and 32 teams are featuring in the 2022 edition of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge happening in Onitsha. And it's at the last stage of the preliminaries, with results emanating from different match centers, while the last group matches are expected to be played this week. And a total of 32 teams, like I told you, are taking part in the competition sponsored by Chief Remi Juice Uchenna Anyadike. The winner is expected to smile home with the sum of 3 million naira. Runners up will smile home with a sum of 1.5 million naira. We'll have a third place team will go home with 500,000 naira. Fourth place team is expected to win 150,000 naira. It may interest you to know that Jimbas FC are the defending champions of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge, and kudos to Chief Remi Uche Anyadike, who is the man bankrolling this event. And also we equally say kudos to the LOC chairman, Mr. Kelechi Austin, in ensuring that they dot the I's and cross the T's as regards this competition, and not forgetting Onitsha North LFC chairman in the person of Mr. John Ubendo. And for some results of matches from the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge, on Sunday, Omaba FC defeated Jimbas FC by 1-0. And let me also tell you that Galaxy FC saw off Sankey FC by 1-0. And two matches will be played in continuation of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge. On Wednesday, watch out for the match between Global FC taking on Olive Charles FA, and that match is expected to be played at the Christ the King College on Onitsha, while Barak Bombers are expected to take on Volcans FC. The match is also coming up at the Christ the King College, happening in Onitsha. So that's about the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge being bankrolled by Chief Remi Juice Uchenna Anyadike to the sum of 3 million, to the tune of 3 million naira for the winner. Runners up are 1.5 million naira. For the third place team, 500,000 naira. And fourth place team, 150,000 naira. I told you that Jimbas FC are the defending champions of the ongoing Remi Uche Soccer Challenge. And there also be other individual prizes like the best goalkeeper, best midfielder, and the highest goal scorer, and all that in continuation of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge in Onitsha. So kudos to Chief Remi Juice Uchenna Anyadike for bringing the youth together and ensuring that they are kept busy. All right, let's move on to our next story. Let's talk about women in sports. This time around, it's all about Princess Aerobics for ladies, and it is here in the administrative capital of Anambra State. Well, let's tell you that women of all strata have been advised on the essence of engaging in physical exercise and recreational activities are geared towards their total health and well-being. The advice was given in Oka during the monthly physical exercise program organized by Commander Nkechi Rose Ofodile. That's the founder and CEO of Princess Aerobics for Ladies. We'll show you the pictures on the screen shortly. Ofodile stated that the vision behind the Princess Aerobics for Ladies is to engage women in exercise, as they need exercise to boost their mood, keep their pounds at bay, as well as shed their body mass and keep fit regularly. She opined that physical exercise is good for improvement and maintenance of our body fitness, general wellness and health status of not just women but both genders, as it's a culture that should be imbibed by all and sundry, no matter their class and affiliation. Also reacting, one of the participants and the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA chairperson Oka South LGA, Honorable Chikodili Nonyelu JP, described the Princess Aerobics for Ladies initiative as apt. Honorable Nonyelu stated that the program has availed women the opportunity to converge together Saturdays and Mondays for physical exercise. The ABGA party stalwart posited that the program is of immense benefit as it helps the women folk to be physically fit and healthy. On her part, a former special advisor to the Governor on Environment, Honorable Felicia Chinelo Okika, re-echoed the views of Commander Ofodile and Honorable Nonyelu. Honorable Okika describing the initiative as a wonderful idea geared towards ensuring that women engage in recreational activities and physical exercise. According to her, regular exercise helps women to be in good mental shape and display physical stability. Honorable Felicia Okika advised women to be part of history by turning out a mask for the social event while reiterating the cliche, health is a wealth. She commended the founder, Commander Ofodile, for her zeal and enthusiasm towards recreational activities and programs that will ensure that women are meaningfully engaged recreational wise. Princess Aerobics for Ladies is the brainchild of Commander Lady Nkechi Ofodile, retired, while Mrs. Ngozi Loka is the coordinator with Nkechi Dimejesi as the aerobics instructor. The exercise and fitness program provides a platform for women in Oka to converge Saturdays at Community Primary School, Ayom Nortala, here in Oka, in Amei to be precise, to engage in bricks walking, aerobics and calisthenics. More than 50 ladies are drawn from all walks of life, currently engaged in the Princess Aerobics for Ladies initiative in Oka. We say kudos to Commander Lady Nkechi Ofodile for the initiative, and also being assisted by the coordinator in the person of Mrs. Ngozi Iloka, a teacher, and also talking about Nkechi Dimejesi, who is actually the aerobics instructor. That's what the innovation now in Oka, engaging women to be part of physical activities. And away from women in sports, let's go to Nnewi. Let's talk about the Lincoln Cup in Nnewi, and let's tell you that the Lincoln Cup is a competition that has lasted for more than 10 years, being played in Nnewi. It is a competition being bankrolled by, of course, the Chief Ken Maduako, another sports enthusiast, a lover of sports. Chief Ken Maduako has bankrolled this competition for over the decade. And let me tell you that 2 Sundays ago, that's on the 4th of September, the Lincoln Cup returned, and it started as Energy Bombers defeated United Rangers by 2-1 at the senior level. The Lincoln Cup is an annual football event bankrolled by Chief Ken Maduako. We'll also show you the pictures on your screen shortly. For the senior level, a total of 12 clubs are featuring. Yes, the winner is expected to smile home with 150,000 naira. The second prize is 100,000 naira, and there is 70,000 naira for the third prize. There's for the third prize, 70,000 naira. That's for the senior level. 150,000 naira for the winner. Second prize 100,000 naira, and third prize 70,000 naira. For under 15 level, yes, for under 15 level, 8 teams are currently featuring in the competition, while for the senior level, 12 clubs are featuring. For the under 15, 8 teams are featuring. The winner will smile home with 50,000 naira. Second place team, or the first runner-up, will go home with 30,000 naira, and third place team or second runner-up is expected to smile home with 20,000 naira. For the under 13 level also, there are 10 teams featuring in the 2022 edition of the Lincoln Cup in Nnewi. The first, the winner will smile home with 30,000 naira, and the runners-up will smile home with 20,000 naira, and there is something for the team that will finish third, 10,000 naira. Matches are being played at the Nnewi High School ground, Nnewi, and this is a competition being bankrolled by Chief Ken Maduaka. And we say kudos to him for bringing out his hard-earned money to ensure that the youths are meaningfully engaged from under 13, under 15 at the senior level, and kudos to him for what he's doing. So if you want to see the matches, it is usually played on Sunday, and the place and the venue is no other place but the Nnewi High School ground. That is where the Lincoln Cup competition is happening, and this is a competition being bankrolled by Chief Ken Maduaka, and of course being coordinated by Mr. Jonathan Igwe, fondly known as JJ. Away from that, let's talk about Anambra Independent Football League, the AIFL. Yes, I may interest you to know that registration is still on for the season 7 edition of the Anambra Independent Football League, and according to AIFL, council registration ends on the 15th of September, so it's about 3 days away, and the registration will end. A new team to register with a sum of 350,000 naira will hear, while the old team is expected to register with a sum of 300,000 naira. Yes, new team 350,000 naira is what they will register with, while the old team will register with 300,000 naira. Mekong United are the defending champions of the season 6, and the season 7 edition is expected to begin on Friday, October 7th, 2022. And the chairman of the Anambra Independent Football League is Reverend Father Obin Nadike, and of course registration once again is still on for the AIFL to end on September 15th. The new season is expected to kickstart Friday, October 7, 2022. And remember, Mekong United FC of Umunse were the champions of the season 6 edition of the Anambra Independent Football League. We'll move away from AIFL now. Let's talk about what's going to go down on the 30th of September 2022, and it's all about the NFF elections are coming up in Benin. We'll look at the profile of Christian Emerowa, as Christian Emerowa recently liaised with Nuga and Nasega Nipoga and Youthform, a leading candidate to replace Amaju Pinnick as the president of the Nigeria Football Federation. On September 30th in Benin City, Dr. Christian Emerowa has held a meeting with the president of institutional sports bodies in Nigeria, where he explained that his strategic plans are for football development in the country, as you can see on your screen. The meeting, which is in line with the head and safety and security department of the Confederation of African Football's policy of liaising with critical stakeholders, was attended by presidents of the Nigeria University Games Association, NUGA, National Association of Colleges of Education Games, NASEGA, Nigeria Polytechnic Games Association, NIPOGA, and Youth Sports Federation of Nigeria, Youthform. Dr. Emerowa said that having the meeting of course has the capacity, the meeting has the capacity to champion holistic football development in Nigeria, from primary and secondary schools to polytechnics, colleges of education and university levels, as a committed professional in sports administration and organization. And Christian Emerowa is one of the frontline candidates of the post, going for the post of the NFF president. And it may interest you to know that Dr. Christian Emerowa is the CAF's head of safety and security, and now he has thrown his hat into the ring to for the position of the president of the Nigeria Football Federation. And it will be happening, their elective congress will be happening in Benin come September 30th, and yours sincerely will definitely be there to do justice to the coverage of that one coming up later, all about the NFF elections. And Christian Emerowa, Dr. Christian Emerowa, has joined the fray, and he wishes to contest for the position of the president of the Nigeria Nigeria Football Federation to see if he can replace the current president whose tenure has come to an end and who said he will not be recontesting. That's talking about Mr. Amaju Melvin Pinnick. So we wish all the candidates all the very best as they go to contest for the top position of our Nigerian football. And now let's talk about Awka South Football League. Awka South Football League, the season will be coming to a crescendo on September 24th. Saturday, September 24th is the season finale of the Awka South Football League. And let me tell you that matches were played on match day 9, and the results I will show you on your screen right now and equally at the table. Now on the screen, of course, you can see the Omuawolo FC defeated New Sense FC by 3-0. The match was played at Ebe Avuja Field, Omuawolo, and Fortune FC lost 1-4 to Peace FC at the Awka Township Stadium. The Wilson FC on Koraf FC is a match that we're still anticipating. Yes, the Wilson FC players and officials went to Abuja for trials and they should be back. And sometime this week we'll give you the date for the fixtures of that game they will be playing against Onkoraf. This is what the table looks like. After 8 matches played, the Wilson FC on top of the log with 22 points. Peace FC, they have 19 points from 9 matches played. Fortune FC, they have 12 points from 9 matches. On Korafa, 4th on the log with 10 points. Omuawolo FC, they have 9 points from 9 matches played. And New Sense at bottom of the log of that one. Talking about the Awka South Football League, you could recall that last Friday we had the proprietor of New Sense FC here to talk about the club. So, but the info here is that the season will be coming to a crescendo on Saturday, September 24th, and you have to say that the Wilson FC are already champions of that one. I think basically what they need now is just to get a draw in their game against Uncle Raf FC, and then they would have nicked the league and become the champions of the maiden edition of the Awka South Football League. And we say kudos to the organizers, kudos to the Awka South Local Football Council chairman in the person of Mr. Chekube Ofili, being assisted by Prophet Miracle Nwune as the vice chairman. And also kudos to Mr. Anayo Biako, who is the chairman, main organizing committee of the Awka South Football League. And the Awka South Football League, I know, has held football within Awka Dynasty Spellbound, and we've seen talents being displayed on a regular basis. So congratulations to them, and September 24th is the final day, and it will be happening at the Awka City Stadium. Let's move away from that. Let's talk about this man who is synonymous with stadium construction in Nigeria. He is Chief Ebi Ebwe, the CEO of Money Michel, and the Chief Executive Officer of Money Michel Group. Ebi Ebwe has sent a goodwill message to the 4 Nigerian teams campaigning on the continent, while Rivers United and Plateau United are featuring in the Morning Spinning CAF Champions League. Debutants are Remo Stars and Kwara United in the CAF Confederations Cup. Ebwe, while wishing the teams well, said it gladdens his heart that almost all the teams would at some point in the race play on tops are constructed by his outfit, Money Michel. And he had this to say, and I quote, "The home of Remo Stars in Ikene and the MJA Arena in Lagos, where Kwara United are playing, were constructed by Money Michel, and I am pretty sure the job we did in those places will help the teams." Ebwe said the era when Nigerian teams are played on poor playing surfaces are gradually getting over, and I want to sincerely thank those who have given us at Money Michel the opportunity to showcase our expertise. I wish all the clubs are well, Ebwe stated. I pray they go far in the continent like Enyimba International did many years back, since Nigeria's most successful club home also had the Money Michel touch. Ebi Ebwe added that Money Michel will continue to strive to meet its target of eradicating bad pitches, not only in Nigeria but Africa. And it may interest you to know that that was the man in charge of the construction of Awka City Stadium. I could see some of the pictures there when ABS TV had an exclusive interview with him during the period when Awka City Stadium was under construction, then as a substructure. So Ebi Ebwe wishing all the clubs representing Nigeria in the CAF Interclub competition, be it the CAF Champions League or the CAF Confederations Cup, all the best in their quest on the continent. And based on that, I can tell you that I will have the results of matches played. In the CAF Champions League, Stade Manji played out a 2-2 draw against Plateau United. Good result for Plateau United, going away from home and getting a 2-2 draw. We anticipate at the return leg. Rivers United walloped Watanga FC by 3-0 in Port Harcourt, and of course expect that when Rivers United go away from home, they just need maybe a draw to scale through or avoid losing by a wilder margin. Good result for Rivers United. And in the CAF Confederations Cup, what a weekend it was for Nigerian club sides featuring in the CAF Interclub competition. They did well, just as Plateau United and Rivers United had a good result. In the CAF Confederations Cup, Kwara United defeated a team known as Donanesa by 3-0, and that is a team based in Niger Republic. And let me also tell you that on a very good note also, Remo Stars went to Morocco. They played FAR Rabat, and that game ended 1-1. So it's such a good story for Nigerian football this weekend. Plateau United going away from home, getting a 2-2 draw. Rivers United winning at home by 3-0. That's in the CAF Champions League. And then Kwara United beating their opponents by 3-0 at home. And then we had Remo Stars going away to FAR Rabat, a very difficult place to play, and then they got a 1-1 draw. So kudos to them. We wish that they continue with this scintillating performance they recorded this weekend in the CAF Interclub competition. So we wish Plateau United, Rivers United, Kwara United, and Remo Stars all the best from the sports decks of ABS TV, and we'll continue to put them on the spotlight on daily shows and Sports Today on ABS and TV. And now, away from that, let's talk about the US Open. Yes, at the US Open finals, of course, we had that on Sunday. And let me inform you that world number 1, Iga Swiatek, capped a dominant season by beating Tunisian 5th seed Ons Jabeur at the US Open to win her second major title of 2022. And Poland's Swiatek, at 21 years of age, won 6-2, 7-6 to secure the season's final Grand Slam trophy on the New York hard court. In the men's singles finals played yesterday also, Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz defeated Casper Ruud 6-4, 2-6, 7-6, 6-3 in his first major final. So we'll say congratulations to the world number 1 Iga Swiatek, and also congratulations to the Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz for their feat of winning the US Open female and male finals respectively. And of course, you know, the US Open is at the final Grand Slam of the year. Usually the first one is Australian Open, followed by the French Open at Roland Garros, and then we'll have the Wimbledon Open, and lastly we'll have the US Open. It's been a good year for tennis, and I hope it continues with the ATPs and WTAs to wind off a good year for tennis. And we'll move over to motorsports now, Formula 1 to be precise. Let's tell you that Red Bull's Max Verstappen inflicted a home defeat on Charles Leclerc and Ferrari in the Italian Grand Prix to continue his cruise to a second world title. The Dutch man defeated Leclerc after the Italian team tried a questionable two-stop strategy, surrendering the lead to the reigning champion twice on track. And Verstappen 11th win this year, putting 116 points clear of Charles Leclerc, and means that he will potentially clinch the championship at the next race in Singapore. Mercedes George Russell took third ahead of Ferrari duo of Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes, both of whom fought up from the back of the grid. So congratulations to Max Verstappen. He is galloping away, and maybe the next GP in Singapore, he will nick it to become the 2022 champions of the Formula 1 this season. And lastly, let's talk about football before we go to result service on the show. Let's tell you that the Premier League was postponed after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, and the Premier League was postponed last weekend as a mark of respect after the death of Queen Elizabeth at the age of 96, and the decision to postpone all matches from Saturday to Monday was taken after a Premier League stakeholders meeting on Friday, which was held after an earlier meeting involving the British government's Department for Culture, Media and Sports and representatives from a range of sports. It is unclear if the Matchday 7 program this coming weekend will hold, as the date for the burial is expected to be September 18th or 19th, based on information coming through from the royal family. So we don't know if there will be Premier League actions that come this weekend, but we know that the continental games that will still happen for the clubs that in England are involved in the continent are the likes of Manchester City, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, and Arsenal that are involved in the continent in England. They will all be playing their game on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as the case may be. Tuesday, Wednesday for the Champions League, and Thursday for the second tier of club football in Europe, which is the Europa League. So in due course, we'll get to know if there will be league actions that come this weekend in England. And before we get time for us to check out the results of our matches played at the weekend, we'll check out what went down in France. We'll also tell you what happened in the German Bundesliga. In France is the Ligue 1, and German Bundesliga in Spain, the La Liga Santander. We'll also tell you about what went down in Italy in the Serie A. Let's begin with France. In France, Lens defeated Troyes by 1-0. It was PSG 1, Brest 0, Marseille 2, Lille Lux Metropole 0. Strasbourg played out a goalless draw with Clermont Foot. Toulouse 1, Reims 0. Lorient defeated Nantes by 3-2 in a 5-goal thriller. Angers 2, Montpellier 1, Ajaccio 0. Nice went away from home and got a 1-0 win. Rennes obliterated Auxerre by 5-0. Monaco defeated the Principality Club, defeated Olympique Lyon by 2-1. In Germany, in the German Bundesliga, let's tell you that Werder Bremen lost 0-1 to Augsburg. Leipzig defeated Borussia Dortmund by 3-1. Shocking result, you have to say. And Hoffenheim saw off Mainz 05 by 4-1. Hertha Berlin 2, Bayer Leverkusen 2. Eintracht Frankfurt lost 0-1 to Wolfsburg. Bayern Munich played out a 2-2 draw with VfB Stuttgart, and Schalke 04 at the Veltins Arena defeated Bochum by 3-1. FC Cologne 0, Union Berlin 1, and Freiburg 0, Borussia Mönchengladbach 0. Those were the results of our matches that played in the German Bundesliga over the weekend, Saturday and Sundays to be precise. In Spain, the La Liga Santander was also on. Girona defeated Real Valladolid by 2-1. Rayo Vallecano 2, Valencia 1, Espanyol 2, Sevilla 3. Cadiz lost at home 0-4 to Barcelona. Atletico Madrid whitewashed Celta Vigo by 4-1. Real Madrid defeated Real Mallorca by 4-1. Madrid getting the better of Mallorca 4-1. It ended there in a 5-goal thriller. Elche 1, Athletic Bilbao 4. Getafe they play at the Coliseum Alfonso Perez, and they defeated Real Sociedad by 2-1 in their cracker. And Real Betis 1, Villarreal 0. Those were the results of matches played in the Spanish La Liga. And lastly, in Italy, let's tell you that Napoli defeated Spezia by 1-0. Inter Milan 1, Torino 0, Sampdoria 1, AC Milan 2, Atalanta 1, Cremonese 1, Sassuolo 1, Udinese 3, Lecce 1, Monza 1, Bologna 2, Fiorentina 1. Lazio at the Stadio Olimpico, Lazio defeated Verona by 2-0. And Juventus played out a 2-2 draw against Salernitana. They thought they've won the game. One of their players was served the matching order for pulling his shirt off in celebrating a goal at the death of the game. But VAR chalked off that goal, and it ended 2-2 at the Stadium de la Pai in Turin in that match between Juventus and Salernitana. What a result it was for Salernitana and for their fans who traveled. They will be traveling back home, happy that their team were able to get a draw at the home of Juventus and Football Club. And on that note, that's the size of the show this morning, Sports Today on ABS TV. Thank you so much for being part of the Monday edition. We'll be back here Tuesday and other days in the week for the continuation of the show. My name is Ike Nwokedi. From the entire team, I wish you a lovely weekend doing sports. Bye-bye now.